I prefer to just say that God created us intentionally.
And you yourself don't seem to be opposed necessarily to the concept of design. It's just intelligent design, as often understood, seems to be a real problem, because you say it's doing this confrontation thing with evolution, and from that point of view, it's an unhelpful way of trying to bring both sides together, in your view. But you don't seem necessarily to say design can never be plausibly involved at some level.
Well, I mean, it's not that I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I actually think that God was involved and he did design us. So I affirm design, intelligent design, with a lowercase I and D. I mean, I prefer to just say that God created us intentionally. But if we're going to use this parlance, we can say that. I think the issue comes to, down to this, like I said, the specific arguments that are being made. I think, I see the problem with concluding naturalism by naturalism of the gaps, but I also think that there's a real issue with concluding design from the gaps as well.
Sure.
So
that should be done.
I think the reality is, as a practicing scientist who is just having to make arguments from data all the time in my scientific work. I mean, I still have an active lab. I've been NIH funded, and most of the papers I write are on stuff that most people here wouldn't care about, which is fine. But I'm kind of in the thick and thin of like, what actually is a good scientific argument? What actually is the data really confining us to? And where are the free points? And I just don't see the argument there in biology that really boxes us into either atheism or naturalism, or boxes us into design. So I think ID is really claiming that that the evidence does box you into having to conclude design. And I think that it doesn't exclude the idea of design, but it doesn't box you into it either. And I think it's an issue of just professional integrity as a scientist, to be clear about that. But then it also becomes a matter of how we engage with scientists who, when they look at the evidence, most of them come to the same conclusion I just said there. I think for very good reason. But why are we trying to debate with them and argue that the evidence boxes them into design when there's already space to affirm it?